Only succeeded in getting the US on its side. Mossadegh, fully aware of the shift in the American stance, made one final desperate plea. Having already refused to sell oil to Communist China and the Soviet Union, Mossadegh offered an ultimatum. Iran would sell oil to the US at a 40% discount. If the US rejected the offer, then Mossadegh would be left with no choice but to sell oil to the Soviets. The American response was that it couldn't discuss any oil deals so long as an agreement on compensation with Britain hadn't been reached. It became clear to Mossadegh that the US was now firmly on Britain's side. British Mi6 and American CIA had already been in discussion over potential coup plots in November of 1952. However, under the Truman administration, the CIA still believed that supporting a staunch anti-communist like Mossadegh, rather than trying to overthrow him, was the surest way to prevent communism taking root. The discussions led to naught. During the same month, Anglo-Iranian officials met with Kermit Roosevelt Jr., the grandson of Theodore Roosevelt and head of CIA operations in the Middle East. The officials presented Kermit with a coup plot named Operation Boot. Roosevelt returned the plan to Allen Dulles, the CIA deputy director. Dulles, knowing Truman's sympathy for Mossadegh, decided to keep the plan secret until Eisenhower would come to power and Dulles would become the new director of the CIA, and his brother, John Foster Dulles, would be made Secretary of State. Meanwhile, Britain was already busy attempting to overthrow Mossadegh itself. In February 1953, an anti-Mossadegh rebellion by Bakhtiari tribal leaders, instigated and armed by Mi6 and the Shah, was crushed by the government. The same month, on February 28th, Ayatollah Chari, a British-backed Shia cleric and rival to Mossadegh, organized a mob to march on Mossadegh's home. The mob broke into his home and threatened to kill him. Mossadegh escaped over the back wall in his pajamas. It became clear that neither Britain or the Shah alone possessed the power to overthrow Mossadegh. In March 1953, a new round of discussions began between Mi6 and CIA officials in Washington. Operation Boot was modified and renamed Operation Ajax. The plan was finalized and then approved by both the British and the Americans in mid-June. The plan comprised of four main components. The first was to begin a propaganda campaign portraying Mossadegh as a communist. The second, to encourage the opposition to create disturbances. The third, to pressure the Shah to remove Mossadegh from power and select a new Prime Minister. And fourth, to support Fazlollah Zahidi as Mossadegh's replacement. With the propaganda campaign and support for the opposition well underway, General H. Norman Schwarzkopf arrived in Iran on August 1st, armed with large bags filled with millions of US dollars. Schwarzkopf met with Zahidi and the Shah to assure them of US support. Roosevelt also entered Iran secretly under alias James Lockbridge, and on the same day met with the Shah to discuss the execution of Operation Ajax. The Shah was to issue a decree to dismiss Mossadegh and replace him with Zahidi. On August 15th, the commander of the Imperial Guards, accompanied by 3 truckloads of soldiers, arrived at Mossadegh's home to issue his dismissal. Mossadegh's guards overwhelmed the soldiers and called for the immediate arrest of Zahidi, who was being hidden by the US in its embassy compound. The Shah, upon hearing of the coup's failure, fled to Baghdad, and the US began drawing up plans to pull Zahidi and Roosevelt.
And here's the other thing, because I also, I'm in a lot of meetings on foreign policy. For years and generations, wars have been fought over oil. In a short matter of time, they will be fought over water. So when we think about building up our economy around our infrastructure on something like water policy, it's literally about jobs. It's about the fundamental source of life that Tammy Duckworth was talking about. It will sustain life. And it's about strengthening up our nation around a commodity that is a precious commodity.